Churchland in Jerusalem. What the story is that? What makes the story so Israeli, and what does the future hold for that? Hi, my name is Oriya Shוחט. I'm a real estate lawyer, and today I will try to address these questions. Our story goes back centuries. Under the rule of the Ottoman Empire, more and more churches continued to buy property in Israel, and specifically in Jerusalem. The Franciscans, the Greek Patriarch, the Armenian Patriarch, the Assumptionists of France, the Russian Church. They all wanted a piece of land in Jerusalem. Fast forward to the 1950s, the first decade of the newborn state of Israel. The government is in desperate need of land so it can build in an ever-expanding Jerusalem. Using Keren Kemet Israel, the JNF, the state of Israel approaches these churches and asks to buy some of the land owned by them. Due to both theological and financial reasons, the churches refused to sell this land and only agreed to lease it for 99 years with an option to extend the lease period. Our cute, newly born state of Israel is preoccupied with security and infrastructure issues. Israel has neither the luxury nor the capacity to think more than a few years in advance.
99 years? יהיה בסדר.
JNF signs the contracts. During the course of the 1950s, three very considerable contracts are signed between JNF and the Greek Patriarch, with JNF leasing some of the church lands. JNF builds whole neighborhoods on these lands and subleases them to thousands of residents. The residents do understand they are living on a leased land, but they are positive that the state of Israel will not leave them homeless when lease period is up. יהיה בסדר. יהיה בסדר. The projects get built up, and these neighborhoods are turning into the most requested and luxurious in Jerusalem and become prime real estate. Some of these lands are used to build important cultural, religious, and tourist facilities such as the Israel Museum, the Great Synagogue, the Inbal, and the Dan Panorama hotels. Time passes by, and one day the residents realize that the government doesn't really have a plan regarding what to do when the lease is up. The churches, on the other hand, do not want to be viewed as threatening residents with evacuation and therefore sell their property to private investors. For example, the vast expanse of land that used to belong to the Greek Patriarch today is owned by the New York-based real estate entrepreneur Gary Barnett. It is important to understand that according law, whoever owns the land also owns the property built on that land. Appraiser Kobe Beer, who researched the story, found that the 100-year lease has the same value just like full ownership. During the first years of the lease period, the price starts slowly decreasing. However, at only 50 years remaining of the lease period, the real estate value drops radically and dramatically and plummets towards zero with the lease deadline looming. Residents of Gan Rechavia and Drosh Rechavia, residents of some of the houses on Mapilim Street, King David Street, and more simply sit there and watch their property value erodes day by day. זה לא בסדר. Many of my clients who buy houses in Jerusalem ask if the property they are about to purchase is owned by church. I try to tell them there's nothing to be worried about. The land registry in Israel is clear, transparent, and legally protected. There's no actual risk of buying property without fully understanding its legal status and the identity of the seller. But those who already own property are remained with questions that will be answered only by time. What will happen with the land on which they live? Will the residents eventually need to buy their own apartments? Will JNF renew the lease period? These unanswered questions lead us to another substantial question. Why doesn't the government do something? Why don't they simply protect the residents and register the houses they have been living in for decades under their names and render them as full owners? The truth is, there was an attempt to promote a solution of that sort. In 2017, the Knesset discussed a proposal that the land would be taken from the church and would be given to the residents. The proposal was DOA, it has no chance of passage, and rightfully so. It is important to understand, in a democratic state, the right to property is sacred. No one can wake up one morning and simply decide that someone no longer owns property he or she fully and rightfully owned only yesterday. There's also no need for me to tell you that the church is a powerful, internationally well-connected institution, and that every attempt to touch these rights will necessarily result in a full-scale international crisis. It is also not very accurate or fair to describe the narrative as buyers or innocent victims of fraud. There are no bad guys in our story. What can we say about this story and about future deals involving church land? It is important to understand that there are different entities who own this property, just like there are different entities who lease it. Moreover, even when dealing with the same players, different parcels of land were leased in different times and under different contracts. Every asset has its own story and needs to be individually examined. Generally speaking, it can be asserted that if what you're looking for is a generous income-producing property with chances to enjoy the fruits of the ongoing urban renewal momentum in Jerusalem, a house situated on church land might not be the deal you are looking for. However, if you simply wish to spend your years in a remarkable location at an affordable cost, and if you're optimistic regarding the chances that eventually a solution will be found, buying a house on churchland property might be something worth exploring.